All right, so today we're going to go over final advice and our tips that we can give you based upon the years that we've implemented this competition. We'll go over a little bit of background on the competition, and in fact, I'll go to the next slide. So we're going to go over the timeline of the application. We're going to talk about the application specifically. We'll go over final advice, and then we'll answer any questions at the end. But if you have any questions, please type them into the chat logs. I will be keeping an eye on it, and I will respond to them as they come in. As a reminder up front, we're recording this, and it will be posted on the gistnetwork.org website. So if you want to go back and watch this at any time, you're more than welcome to. And I'll show you where to find it. Right. So first of all, here's the TechEye timeline. So the November 23rd is when the applications are due. And I'll remind you that if you submit, there's no submit button on the application. What you do is you fill out the information, and then once you're finished and you filled out all the required fields, you push submit, or excuse me, you push save, and at the deadline, any application that has been saved will be considered submitted. So that's coming up in a little over a week away from today. Next, we'll have the internal review. So that's basically us at AAAS will look over your application and make sure that you filled out all the required fields, make sure you have everything that is needed for the application. And then after that, in December to January, we'll send those applications off for experts to review them. We usually have 3 experts review each application in order to make sure that it gets a fair view. And then once that's done, the top 100 applications will then go on to the online voting period, which will happen around January, February of 2019. And then we'll have the finals those individuals will be determined by the top vote getters of the voting, and it's the top 24. And that will happen, the finals will happen April 14th to the 18th. Some of this is, we've put in a little bit of flexibility in this in case something comes up and we need to move things around, but these dates or these timeframes should be what you will see. Just one second, there's a question. Okay, there's a question about previous videos, and actually, I think the next slide I go into the application specifics. So I'll pause right here in this presentation. I'll exit out. Whoops, let's close that. And I'll take you to the website, and so you can get an idea. And I'll go over where you can see past participants' videos. So one thing I wanted to note real quick is that before you apply, you have to register. So you click on the registration link in the top right-hand corner, and then you fill out this information and create a new account. Once you've done that, you'll get an email to confirm that account. If for some reason you don't receive the email, please check your spam or junk mailbox. And if you still don't find it, send us an email and we'll check it out and see what the problem is. Once you've registered, then you'll go back to the main page, log in, and then you'll enter your email and your password. If for some reason you've forgotten your password, there's a link right here by login that you can click, and it'll it'll ask for, and I'll show you right here, it'll ask for your username or email, and then it'll send you an email to reset your password. If for some reason you don't receive that email, again, check your junk or spam folders. And if you don't see it there, send us an email and we'll see what we can do about it. So other things I want to note in this is that once you've logged in, all you have to do is click here to apply. There's a list of things of how to apply, and this goes over a lot of details of what's in the application. And then you'll click on the button at the bottom of the page to apply. I'll point out a couple of great resources, one of which is under the how to apply. There's a watch this video for a step-by-step application guide. It's a real quick video, or it's not real quick, but it's a great video of walking through the application itself. And so if you have any questions about the application itself, in terms of the fields you need to fill out, go ahead and watch that video. Of course, send us an email if you have any questions as well. The other thing I'll point out, which is one of the questions that was asked earlier, which was where to, actually I'll go back real quick, which is where to find the videos from last week or the webinars from previous times. If you click on this FAQ advice on the side here, on the right side, we have links to the webinars. So here's the link for the first webinar we did. Here's a link to the second webinar we did. And here we'll have a link to the webinar that we're doing currently, a recorded one. In the how to make a promotional video, for those who want to see previous applications and their videos, that has a good rundown of showing the different videos. Although I can send you a link to, and maybe once I'm done with this, I'll put a link in it at the bottom of this chat to direct you to where to go. Let me see if I can go there real quick. It's a YouTube channel. So yeah, if I can just go to the channel. So here you can see we have 2016 and 2015 plays or videos. Let me go to the, I know this is connected to that. So I will copy this. Come on. I'll copy this link and I'll put it in the chat log. So if anyone wants to watch it or watch past applications and their videos, you'll be able to do that. So let me put that in. Paste. All right, so going back, this is again the how to apply video that's on the landing page. Other important links here are that you can download the full competition announcement with all the rules and terms and conditions of the competition. There's also a list of the eligible countries that can apply, or whose citizens can apply. And then once you've done that, I won't be able to do this, but I'll click here to apply. But you could say, whoops, it's because I haven't logged in yet. So I'll have to log in first before I can access the application. And I go over how to access the application and how to fill it out in the how to apply video. So if you have any questions on that, I suggest you watch that video. But send us an email or send a comment in the chat log and we'll go and I can answer them. There was one question that came up, and let me go back to it. Well, there's a couple questions. So, okay, so the first, one of the questions is, do I submit to a mentor like last year? No, that was an unusual circumstance that we did last year where you submitted for a mentor. This year, you're just applying for the application, and this time the mentors are not reviewing it. It's our expert reviewers that are reviewing the application. There will be mentors on the ground, but they're not going to be the ones specifically reviewing your applications. So just to make that clear. So there's questions about the prizes for this year, and that's probably a reference into. Let me close this. Pop this back up. Oops. So there's questions about the prize structure. So we sent out put out an article about the different prizes for the AWS, that's Amazon Web Service credits, So like, for example, the first place startup gets 50,000 Amazon credits in Amazon Web Services. So it's not actually a monetary value. It's the ability to use the Amazon Web Services in order to build a website and do other things that you can take advantage of. Now, those are in addition to the monetary prizes. We have a total prize pot of currently of around $35,000, and that will be broken up over the different awards. We haven't published that yet, and we're working on narrowing down the exact amounts for each, but we'll publish that closer to the time of the finals. But there will be capital seed prizes, which will be monetary value. And then there will be the AWS credits, which allows you to use their platform for how many credits they provide, you win. So hopefully that is a little bit clearer to you. Let's see, make sure there's no other questions before. All right, so to go back, so we discussed the timeline. So let's go on. So the application specific details. Again, I go over this in the video on how to apply. So if you have a lot of questions on this, I suggest you watch it, but please ask questions. So the important things to do is to make sure that your your details are accurate and correct, especially the email address, which I can't stress enough. If you make it onto the semifinals, I am going to be emailing you through that email address. And so if your email address is incorrect, then you won't get that email and know that you're onto the semifinals. And we will require you to confirm that you would like to continue to participate in the competition. So please make sure that your email is correct. Also, your country of citizenship, your company and idea name. Now, I know there's a question here which about the company name. So there are two fields, one of which is what you list the product or service, and there's another field or place where you can list your company name. Those can be the same. So if you are only at an idea and your idea is, the name of the idea is super fantastic idea. So you write that down into your service, what that service idea concept is. Then under the company name, you can just write the same thing down. Don't worry about if you don't have a formalized created company. If you're in the idea stage, we understand that you might not have a company put together, and so that's fine. Just put the same information that you put in that field that's just that question above down below, and that's fine. It's not a problem. And that is a question that came in. Let me make sure there was just 1 second. Let me make sure. So before I go on, there are fields about the numbers of employees, yearly income. Our team is still a prototype phase, so don't have any of those numbers. So that you can put 0 in there. That's fine. All it has to be is some sort of numerical value. So if you have no employees, put 0. If you have, because it might be just you starting out. If you have no income, yearly income, you can put 0. It's fine. And then if you have no investment, 0 is fine. Because we understand if you're at the idea or the very beginning of a concept, you're probably not going to have that stuff, and that's fine. Just put 0 down. This is again something that I've gone over in the how to apply video, so that covers a lot of that. But please feel free to ask questions about that. Okay. All right. So going back to the application itself. So the application must be in English. This has been a question that's come in. The reviewers will be reviewing the applications in English, so please submit them in English. There's a project summary that you need to put in. It's no more than 50 words. This should be really short and explain quickly what the idea is. If you make it onto the semifinals, which is the voting round, that short summary is going to be used for individuals to look at your application and then vote on it. So it should be something that everybody can understand, and we say limit it to 1 to 2 sentences. Um, there are the questions about the science and technical aspects. So there are, I think, there are 4 questions on those, and those are just to get the idea, understanding of what's the science, what's the technology behind your idea or startup, and then there are 4 business questions, and this is just to understand where you are in your business situation, and if you've thought about things. One question I often get, and especially since there was a question about just an idea stage and not having funds or income. Uh, there is a question about teams. And so if you don't currently have a team in place, that's fine. Just put down what you see, who you're looking at as hiring and bringing on. What expertise do you need to bring on to get your startup going? Excuse me. Because reviewers they understand you might not have uh, a team put together, but they want to know that you've been thinking about it and thinking about some of the key people that you need to add to your team. All right, so those are kind of the questions aspects. The next thing I'm going to go over quickly is the video. We go over how to make a video in another webinar, and you can find that on the FAQ page that I showed you earlier. But just a reminder, it needs to be 90 seconds at its maximum. It must be in English or have English subtitles. And just to be clear, we've had applicants make it to the finals using subtitles, so it's not a detriment if your video has subtitles in it. We tell you that you should focus on the purpose of your idea, be creative, try to make it interesting. Think of it as a commercial for your startup or idea. Try to explain what the problem is, how your solution does it, and then leave us with something to remember you by. These are some of the advice we give you in the webinar earlier about putting together a video, and so I encourage you to watch that if you have a lot more questions on it. Okay. So next, sticking with the video a little bit, these are the things we tell you that you should consider. Use what you have available. Don't feel like this video needs to be professionally done. One of the things we get asked a lot is, how should I don't have professional video camera equipment. What should I do? And what we tell the reviewers who review your application is that they shouldn't be concerned with the quality of the video in terms of whether it's grainy or if it's not the best, or if there's no music behind it or whatever. What they should be concerned with is the content in the video. So we've had finalists make it from the application to the finals by just having a video, cell phone video of them talking about their idea, explaining the problem, explaining their solution. And so don't feel like you need to make something extremely professional. Whatever you can do to make the video will work. And many people are afraid to do this video, but I tell you, it doesn't take that much. Just a cell phone video, a laptop, webcam like I'm using right now. All this can be made into a video. And if it's just you talking about your idea, that's fine. I mean, that's perfectly possible and is not a problem. Another thing I would tell you to do is you can make a video using PowerPoint in which you create the slides, you do the timing, and then you can export it as a video. And we've had applicants who made it to the finals using that. And in the video and in the how-to video about creating a promotional video, we go over some of these, and we show you some individuals that have done it in the past, so you can get some idea of what they do. I'm going to pause real quick because it looks like there's some questions. Make sure. Okay. Just a second. Wow. So it's regarding Copyright images. I have images from my social media venture. So we advise you so we advise you that you should not use copyright material images. Please create your own images if you can, or use ones that are, if you go on Google and Google Creative Commons, a lot of times you can find images and stuff that you can use for free. They're not required to have you don't need to worry about copyright for them. Okay. There was another question I saw. Oh, and just one thing. I know some of you might have webcams. Please, for the webinar, please just leave them off so that we don't need to have too many people getting confused by the videos. So for describing the technology after the project, will it be protected? Since our idea is not protected. Okay, so that's a very good question. So what we encourage you to do is not to reveal anything that could potentially jeopardize your ability to get a patent. So what you need to do is be very vague, and if there's anything that's business confidential, send me an email and we can see what we can do in order to do this. That being said, your application, the individuals who review your application are required to sign a document saying that they are free of conflicts between who they're reviewing, in terms of they're not related to you, or they don't work with you, and they're required to sign a confidentiality agreement as well, that they won't reveal any of the information they learn about in the application to others. So that should put you a little bit more at ease. That's why we kind of stress that 2-sentence project summary. That's what we're going to use for the application. Oh, excuse me, for the voting round. And most of the rest of the application will not be shown during the voting. But I would encourage you to be careful and not to give away too much. And if there is anything that the reviewer has problems with, they'll let us know. But please let us know ahead of time if you have any business confidential stuff, and we will see what we can do about it. But we completely understand that you would have some concerns. All right. So the question is about, so there's a question about background music when the song in the background has copyright issues. So we encourage you not to do that, obviously. So there is some free music or royalty-free music on YouTube. If you look it up and you look up royalty-free music, so you can use some of that royalty-free music. And I'd encourage you to use that and not copyrighted music in the background of your video. And if you, I mean, you don't really need music. Sometimes music can be distracting. So, okay, so there was a question about the email, and I'll type my the email. So I'm typing into the chat, and it'll come up later. But this, oops, it's not correct. I'm sending this out to everyone. This is the email that you could send to if you had any questions about applying or anything like that. I will be responding to that email, and I'll show it again at the end of this presentation. All right, and just a reminder to people who might have just arrived, we're recording this, and so you'll be able to watch this again at a later date, or once we post the video. All right, so here are our recommendations for your video. We tell you to say, give an introduction, tell us about you, tell us about your idea, state the problem, and then how your solution, how your idea solves that problem, and really sell your idea. Again, this is like making a commercial for your idea or startup. And then again, I mentioned this before, but leave us with a lasting mark. So this is gone over in the video tutorial on how to make a video. But again, if you have any questions, let me know. Just checking to make sure there's no new. Yep. All right. So here's our recommendations for some things to do. Do apply. There is really no risk in applying to the application. Yes, you might not make it on, but there's also a lot of high probability you'll go on to the semifinals if you take the time to and you have a really good idea. So we encourage you to apply. We encourage you to be creative, show us your personality, especially in the video. Those videos are reviewed by the expert reviewers, and so if you have a video that stands out, a lot of times they'll remember that and score that. That actually is one of the things they score on when they review your application. Sell your idea or your product. Tell us why we need it. One thing that I will stress is sometimes it helps to lay out the problems or the problem that your idea is solving, because a lot of time a problem in your country might not be a problem in another country, and so making it clear to reviewers, and if you make it onto the voting round, to the outside audience, what the problem actually is and how your solution solves it. Again, don't worry about the quality of your video. It's the content that's more important. And then make sure you triple check all your information that you submit. And remember, I've explained this before in previous webinars, but you are required to fill out all the required fields that are marked with an asterisk in order to save your application. Once you save it, you can go back and edit it at any time up until the deadline. So feel free to check on that, modify anything, anything you need to do up until the deadline, which is the 23rd of November. Some of the don'ts we kind of advise against is not to exceed the maximum length of the materials you're submitting. Now, many things have word limits, so you can't really do that, but especially the video, please limit it to 90 seconds. Anything more, the reviewer is not required to review. So if you include important details in that the time after the 90 seconds, they're not going to see it. So just be mindful of that. If you can't upload your application, please send us an email. This is the email I posted before I put on the chat log, but it's techguy@justnetwork.org. If you can't upload your documents, or excuse me, your video, I shouldn't say documents, then let us know and we can help you upload it. And don't forget to hit save before you go. Let's see, it looks like there's a couple questions. Let me see. Just to reiterate, the application has to be in English, and the video should be in English or have English subtitles. That's fine. Can we share the slides? I can't share the slides, but this video is being recorded, and so you can go back and watch the video at any time, and you'll see these slides if you need them. Let's see, there was another question. We have a full document of projects with proposal in a PDF that we can send to reinforce our project. So we don't have an option to submit additional documentation. We've done that in the past, but even in the past, those documents were not required for the reviewer to review. The application is made to be quick and concise, so a reviewer can look over your application and quickly get an idea of how well your your idea or your startup is, and then make and then rate it accordingly. So unfortunately, you can't accept other outside documents that I understand could bolster your idea, but just try to include the key points in those in the answers to the questions on the application. Make sure there's no one. Okay. Let's see. So the next steps, what we tell you to do is make sure to apply. It's justnetwork.org/justtechguide2019. If you have any questions, email us. Again, that's our email on the screen, techguide@justnetwork.org. Participate in Just Network's discussions, especially if you have anything that you want to put on. For example, there's on Twitter or Facebook, Just manages those profiles on those networks. So feel free to tweet, spread the word about the competition. And then all the webinars are available on the Just Network website. And I'll again, at the end, I'll show you where to find that. And the deadline is November 23rd at noon. So please be sure to save your application before then. Let me see. I think at this time I open it up for questions. I was just checking the time, see if there's any additional questions. So I'll wait a few minutes before I sign off to allow you all to ask any questions. But while I'm here, I'll go ahead and exit that, and then I will see. In case I need, I'm going to pull up Just Network. So the website, and again, just to go over where to find everything, click here to apply. We'll post a video of the video of this afterwards on the FAQ website, which has a lot of great questions and answers to those questions that we've received over the years. But this video will be posted right here, so if you have any questions about that. I'm trying to think if there are any other important links that you should check out. I mean, all these links on the right-hand side are important, so I'd encourage you to check them out. All right. Are there any additional questions that you all have? We have until the next, we have until about another half hour that I can keep this open, so feel free to ask questions. I guess since we have time, I will go ahead and show you real quickly previous applicants' videos so you get an idea of them. We show this on the video webinar that we do on how to make a video, but I'll show it once more. So there's a question that came in, can we work in groups? And yes, you can work in groups, that's fine. You just need to have someone who's representing the team apply. So it has to be one individual, and that individual will then go on to the finals. So they're just going to be the representative of the team. The question is, there's another question of, can I submit more than one application? Unfortunately, no. You're only allowed to submit one application per competition. So if you have multiple ideas, please submit for this this competition, and if you don't make it to the finals this time, you can submit it next year for the next competition, the new one for the next competition. So real quick, let me turn this on. Oops. All right, so just 1 second. I don't think I'm unfortunately not going to be able to do video audio for these, but I do provide audio in the webinar I did on how to make a promotional video. But you can see, you should be able to see on screen the types of videos. I mean, this is an animation done. this here's Destiny's, and this is a good example of like when people say they can't do it. She's just standing in front of what she's talking about and how her idea relates to that, and explaining it. And she actually takes less than 90 seconds to explain the idea. And this is a she made it to the finals. Let's see if there's another interesting one. I think some of these, I think one of them has subtitles. Oh, here's an example. It's in Spanish, but there are subtitles at the bottom. And then again, this person made it to the finals. So don't worry too much about how well the video looks. It's more about the content. So there's a question. Let me see. How is your innovation novel compared to competitor solution? If there's no competitors for my startup, what should I say? So the question is, one of the questions it asks in the application is how your idea is novel compared to the other competitors. And the question is, what if I have no competitors? So you should make sure to note that this is an area where no one has taken advantage of, and therefore there aren't any competitors that you have to deal with. Maybe mention, for example, other solutions that people have tried to come up with in a sort of similar way, but haven't really solved the issue, and explain it that way, so that that the reviewer understands that this is a problem, that some people might have tried to do a solution, but obviously no one actually has succeeded, and that your idea actually does succeed in this area. So I would do that. I would say that. All right. So I'll just show you a little bit more of the different videos that have been made in this. Let's see if there's another interesting one. Clarice. Clarice. Again, she's just talking in front of her webcam, explaining the idea, explaining how her solution is going to tackle that idea. And so really, these don't need to be too technical in terms of the video. Here's another one that just uses graphics. This might have even been created using PowerPoint. I'm not sure exactly what software was used, but again, it doesn't have to be the blow away professional video. This is really what we're looking for. This one just has animation in it, which is perfect. And this person again made it to the finals. All right, I'll pause for a few more moments to see if there's any more questions. I was going to run back to the application page. Oops, looks like there is another question. Will the finalists get membership and follow up for their projects after the competition? So that's a really good question. So as part of the competition, finalists receive 3 months of mentorship after the competition ends. So that's one answer to your question. There's no membership that they get from participating in the program other than being considered an alumni of the competition. And one of the things, and I'll say that we kind of go over this in the very first webinar I put together, which is some of the benefits of the competition, which is that not only will you have the mentorship of the mentors that will be on the ground there for the next 3 months. Additionally, the finals are an opportunity to network, and a lot of times the individuals you'll meet there might be mentors for you, or might be people that you want to work with in the future. And so it provides a great opportunity to build out your network after the competition ends. Okay. wait a few more minutes to see if anyone else has any questions before we sign off. I will say that there was a question about prizes. Let me see if I can pull up uh, the prize, the new prize breakdown for. Let's see. Just one moment while I pull it up. Okay. Okay. Oh, unfortunately, I don't have the link to it. But so Amazon Web Services, AWS, provided additional prizes to our competition in excess of 200,000 in AWS credits. So those are credits you can use in order to help build out your website, or use in anything like that might use up um, server space. And so it's a really great opportunity. Okay, so there's a question, what are prize credits like? Some of us might have access or need those credits. So those credits, I think I explained that just right now, is basically it gives you space on servers to build out things. So I think I was just watching a video the other day that for example, services like and businesses like car sharing services or uh, room sharing services or house sharing services, those use those Amazon Web Credits in order for their business to function. So that's, I believe, what it is, but I can look into it and find out more. There's still awards like People's Choice Best Female Entrepreneur is another question we got. Yes, so there will be. Right now, we're planning on having a, a best or outstanding female entrepreneur as a prize, and then the other one we're looking at having, which is the Spirit of Tech Eye, and the requirements for that award vary based upon the year, and so I don't have information on how that is going to be decided. But closer to the finals, we can provide more information on what exactly the criteria are for the Spirit of Tech Eye. And I mention this because in years it's changed. It's been sometimes it's been the People's Choice. Sometimes in terms of the finalists vote for who they think should receive that award, and then sometimes it's been the trainers who train at the 2-day training that decide who they felt excelled the most during the training. So we don't know exactly right now, but we'll be able to provide that closer to the finals. All right, these are good questions. Great questions. Let's see if there's anything else.
Hello.
So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. I'll wait a few more moments to see if anyone has anything additional. Okay, well, if that ends your questions, I'll go ahead and end it right now. if you have any questions, please email me at at techeye@justnetwork.org, as I mentioned. Uh, and I look forward to seeing your applications. Uh, and Really, I can't express enough that you really should take the chance and apply. So with that, I'll sign up. I'll sign off, and I will look forward to seeing your applications. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, hello. Sir, I would like to know that I'm from